Hello, my friends. It's Itheria. I have been somewhat neglecting this channel because Endwalker came out, and there was nothing I wanted to do but play. So that's what I did. And I was thinking about doing some sort of ASMR content, but I wasn't sure what I could really do because I was very focused on completing the main story quest. So I thought even if I wanted to do some ASMR, I had to get that out of the way first. And because I was recording my reactions for my main channel, which we'll see if I can make anything out of it, but since I was recording my reactions for my gaming channel, I could not make any ASMR content of playing Endwalker. So I thought, well, I did do the Bunny Boy video, but I thought, okay, maybe in the future I'll do another glamour video or some Endwalker places like maps. But I think it's still too soon to do a maps one, looking at some beautiful areas in Endwalker, because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. So instead, I'm just kind of making the same video I made for my gaming channel right now, but ASMR style. And it's going to be more stream of consciousness here because obviously for ASMR we like long form videos, where on the gaming channel I try to keep them generally under 15 minutes because people seem to enjoy that length. Of course, I don't truly know what people want, but I try to cut out any rambling I do, where here I probably won't do that much of that. So the purpose of the video is just to talk basically about Endwalker, how it was as both a story and a game, how it was as a piece of, I guess, media that we consume. I'm going to attempt to do this without any spoilers at all, because I know there are many people who are not finished with the MSQ. I finished it in about a week because the first 2 days I spent playing Sage, getting it to 80. And then, after that it took me 7 to 8 days to do the main story quest. So that's as somebody who was playing for long hours every day. But I imagine if you worked full time, you probably couldn't have finished yet unless you took off. So I don't want to spoil anything. I don't really know where to even start here, just because, like I said, I'd rather this be stream of consciousness. But I finished the game yesterday, and there was a lot of people in my free company who were saying things like, I have to pick up my heart up off the floor, or that they were heartbroken, or things like that. And at first I was like, why? Well, not really why, but I didn't really feel the same way after finishing. I felt sad that I had finished, but I didn't feel depressed or like I had an enduring sadness. That was what I thought at first, because I was mostly just sad about finishing because it was such a good story that I was like, oh, damn, I'm done and I want more. But frankly, I lived in that world for an entire week. I was so single-mindedly doing the main story quest. I was so obsessed. I was literally obsessed that I had dreams about it. You know the lobby where it's all starry and swirly? I had dreams about being in this starry, swirly place and talking to Heidelin and stuff. So anyway, I was talking about my free company members saying they were sad, and So yeah, I was mostly upset about finishing. But then today, as I went throughout my day, I took a shower, I went for a walked the dog, which I have not walked much in the past week. It was like I've become freed from my shackles of obsession, but the story was so good that all I wanted to do was play. So it wasn't like I was forcing myself. There were occasions when I did because I wanted to be uninterrupted, so I would play extra hours at night. Normally I stop playing around midnight, and I'll either go to bed or watch stuff. Let's be honest, I used to go to bed around 1 or 2 in the morning, and now I go to bed at like 3 in the morning because I've been obsessively playing. But I wanted to be able to enjoy the story without anyone in my household coming in and interrupting me, or the dogs too, because the dogs interrupted me a lot. I wanted to be like fully immersed, so I would play extra hours at night because I knew there'd be moments of great emotion. So yeah, but anyways, back to being like back to what I keep tangenting. So at first I was just sad about finishing the story, and I really wanted more. It's like that feeling when you finish a good book, especially if it's like a long series and then you're finally done and you just don't know what to do with yourself. It's like you almost feel lost. That was how I felt at first, but then I started going throughout my day and I would randomly think about some parts of the story that made me sad, or I'd have the music. The music has been running through my head since like last night, and I would randomly start tearing up because I was thinking about these moments. And I watched Zepla's video where she shared her thoughts about Endwalker, and she talked about the kind of the moral of the story, the big talking point of the story. And yeah, thinking about that message also made me it made me sad. And it's not that the message itself is especially sad, but it's somewhat like it's very relatable for one, and I think it draws on pain. I'm not quite sure how to describe it because the message is not necessarily a sad one, but it is about accepting sadness and facing hard times and hardships. So I think that's why this message makes us cry. To some extent, the storyline or some of the wisdom from it kind of reminded me of the movie Soul. That movie was not, in essence, a sad movie, but it still made me cry because it really covers, like I said, those hardships in life, but also the beauty of life and finding beauty in small things. That's really Soul, in my opinion, is a wonderful movie that is worth watching. It's one of my favorite movies. I really, really love that movie, and I think it has a fantastic message. But yeah, it is a message that, despite being not a bad message or like it's not a sad message in essence, but it still makes you cry. It makes you feel things, and I think that's why all of us are, thinking about the story and crying, because not only do we think about the parts that are sad or think, about I'm about to say a spoiler, so we'll move on. But yeah, it just thinking about the sad parts as well as the message, the beautiful message, can make us a little emotional. So I definitely started feeling that way today as I thought about the story. At the same time, it all kind of feels like a blur. It's like a dream that I lived through. It's so strange because obviously I lived and I played it, but it's almost doesn't feel real. It's so weird. I don't know why I feel that way, but it definitely makes me want to play it again, just to feel like it's more concrete in my mind for one, as well as because the story was just incredible. It was so enjoyable to go through that I immediately want to redo it. I sincerely just want to jump right back in and do it again. So a third reason would be because once you go through the story and learn all of the hidden secrets, the nods to them earlier become more obvious, and so it's fun to kind of go back and see what you missed. So yeah, I'm definitely planning on replaying it, probably maybe soon. My initial goals for the game are, now that I've finished the MSQ, to get at least my white mage to 90, but maybe the other healers as well. And I kind of want to try Reaper, and then also work on getting some better gear. Maybe the best in slot. I'm not sure. I'm not crazy about best in slot. Like, I'm not one of those people that has to get it right away. But I would like my gear to be good enough that I can jump into the extreme trials with some friends and FC members. So yeah, that's kind of my initial goals, but I don't know, I just really want to play Endwalker again. I really do. It's like, I just want to experience it again. It was so, so good. So we'll see. Maybe I'll split my time between the two or something. I've been toying with the idea of live streaming my play. It makes me a little bit nervous because I like having control. I like being able to edit my videos and cut out things if I say something stupid, which you wouldn't know it because I cut it out, but I do it a lot. I say a lot of dumb things. A lot of it is I just have a bad memory, so I'll say things that are untrue, like things I misremembered about the game, and then I'll like double check it when I'm editing, and okay, that's not right, and I just cut it out. So that's one of the things that makes me a little bit nervous about streaming, but you know, it might be fun to do. I got one comment on my gaming channel asking me if I would stream, and apparently one comment is enough for me to consider doing it, but if I did stream, I would be happy to do ASMR as well as just streaming the game, but I think what I would probably do would be streaming the game, and I would put a tag of just like gaming or a tag of ASMR and just do it both ways. I'm not sure. Although I assume my gaming audience probably wouldn't really want to hear me doing ASMR. I'm not sure, although I do have a lot of people say that I have a nice voice, so maybe they would. But yeah, I'm probably would not do ASMR in the sense of like, you know, turning on a camera and brushing a microphone or something. I would probably just soft-spoken, like, play the game. So yeah, not sure about any of that, but it's on my mind. So another thing I was thinking about a lot with the game when I made my video for my main channel or gaming channel. I'm not really sure if it's a main channel. I try to post on both of them, but it is the channel with more views and subscribers, so maybe that's what makes it a main channel. I don't know. But I had some talking points for that, and I'll bring those here now. So, did I mention the maps? One of the things I was so astounded by was the maps. Not only was I surprised because there were maps I didn't expect at all, I was very surprised by them. So, yeah, I just didn't see it coming, which was really nice. A nice twist. But they just, the lands, like the actual zones themselves were so beautiful. I expected Thavnair to be a little bit gaudy, because it uses like very bright colors and colors that most people maybe wouldn't initially put together. I thought it would be kind of garish, but the land itself is very lovely. Even Radsathan, the main city, is nice, even though it does utilize colors like purple, yellow, red, and green together that you normally wouldn't think are good. It still has some beautiful areas, but what I loved about Thavnair was the beautiful ocean and monuments, as well as the land itself. It had like these kind of purple rocks. I don't know, it was just gorgeous. Charlian was gorgeous as well. I loved the architecture and the way that even in the main city there were so many trees. They were everywhere. It was almost like a little city in the forest. And the rest of the Charlian map, which I won't say too much about because it's also kind of a surprise, also beautiful. Very cool too. The concept of it was really, really neat. Aside from the loveliness of the maps, something I'm so glad I did this time around was to play with the music on. I started playing the game in December of 2019, I believe. So this was after Shadowbringers had been out for about half a year. And I didn't really play with the music on. I think I was pretty used to playing games without the music on, and also, to this day, I don't really enjoy having like the city-state music on or like music I've already heard. Like if I'm sitting around outside my FC house, I don't like having the music on. A lot of times I like to just like, especially if I'm grinding stuff, I like to have a video on my other monitor or play music, so I guess I'm just used to having the music off. But after having so many people comment about the music in the game, I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn my music on and I'm not gonna turn it off until I'm done with the MSQ. And that's exactly what I did, and I'm so glad that I did so, because the music is so gorgeous. Not only did they do an amazing job with just creating the music, composing the music, but the placement of each piece throughout the story just brings it to another level. It adds more emotion, just like a movie. It really adds so much more. It can intensify your feelings or even give you new feelings. It can give you a sense of urgency, or it can make you feel sad. It just was, it was just phenomenal. It was one of my favorite parts of the playthrough, and I kept over and over again commenting about how much I liked the music. I just was so enthralled with it. So yeah, I mean, if you're playing without the music like me, I'm here to tell you that you need to turn it on. Another thing I appreciated was the pace of the story, and how there would be very dramatic moments that would be complemented by moments that were more calm. So you might end up going through a very intense part of the story, and then it would be followed by a calmer moment. There was one part that I thought dragged on a little too long, or just wasn't that interesting. I didn't feel like it added that much to the plot. I mean, it was cute, I'll say that, and that should give some of you who are through Endwalker enough to know what I'm talking about. It was cute, but it was just, for me, it went on a little bit too long. And I was like, eventually I was like, okay, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to have more action again. But overall, I thought there was a pretty good balance between that. And especially when we go to one of the new maps that is quite surprising. It's a very, very beautiful map. And I loved that part especially because even though it was one of the calmer moments, we learn so much. We learn so much about the story. The plot is driven pretty far, despite it not being super duper intense or dramatic in those moments. It's still, yeah, that part was really, really great, because that part was like, calmness went hand in hand with learning, with mystery and secrets being revealed. Even though, yeah, like I said, it wasn't as intense as some of the battle scenes that we go through, but it was still so good. So good. Trying to think what else I want to say about the story. We talked about balance. I mentioned some of the twists before too. I mean, yeah, something I loved was just how unexpected so much of the story was. I mean, we're given little hints and we're given little crumbs throughout, and that allows us to think and make predictions. And there will be some simple predictions that came true, but I feel like they did such a good job at making the story unpredictable, because I remember thinking at some parts, oh, this is predictable, it's totally XYZ, and then even though some of that was right, at the end I was still thrown for a loop. And it was a really great loop because it was so interesting and, like I said, just something I never could have predicted myself. Oh yeah, I must also say the voice acting was totally phenomenal. But with that, I'm going to wrap things up. Those are just some of my ramblings, some of my thoughts about Endwalker after finishing it, and yeah, I just want to do it again. So, thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you sleep well. And I hope you're able to finish Endwalker if you're playing. And if you're not a Final Fantasy player, I would say you should consider playing it, maybe in about a month though, because the queues are pretty bad. But yeah, good night.